Today we'll see knowledge sheet number 86, indigestion of knowledge. Knowledge must be properly digested and assimilated. Indigestion of the knowledge leads to development of a subtle ego which has no cure. Subtle ego give rise to habits that are not life supporting. Such deep, is one thing related to other. If the indigestion of ego, if the indigestion of knowledge, it leads to subtle ego. हाँ कि मैं जानता हूँ और या मैं कुछ हूँ. The subtle ego. और मैं कुछ हूँ which has no cure. Subtle ego give rise to habits that are not life supporting. So you can read knowledge, you can listen knowledge, but that assimilation and digestion of knowledge is needed. And there are some symbols, there are some thing. This knowledge is not about analyzing others. Huh? It is about analyzing the self. Normally हम क्या करते हैं? We analyze others. Analyzing others is art of living. Analyzing the self is art of living. And when you can analyze the self, then you can do any synthesis. Then the synthesis happens. Now, indigestion of knowledge leads to subtle ego, one. Second is adamancy. मैं जो कह रहा हूँ ऐसे ही होना चाहिए. There are some people who are adamant. ऐसे तो knowledgeable होते हैं, दिखते knowledgeable है, knowledge की बात करते हैं, but they are adamant. Tendency to preach. It's easy to supply knowledge, but it's the toughest job to apply knowledge while supplying. The tendency to preach. There are many preachers you'll see. Will say like this. वो कहते हैं टीवी पे सामने आके शांति शांति. हाँ, उनके चेहरे पे कोई शांति नजर नहीं आती है. People used to say this. Tendency to preach. The fourth is using knowledge for one's own small ends. गुरुदेव ने एक बार बोला था, don't use knowledge as a shield, use knowledge as a weapon. Often people, what they used to do, they used to use knowledge as a shield. তারা কি করে? জ্ঞানকে একটা ঢাল হিসাবে ব্যবহার করে. But use knowledge as a weapon to move forward. To move forward with smile. To move forward with acceptance. Use knowledge as that weapon. Don't. जब आपको कोई कुछ बोलता है, then what happened? People used to defend themselves, and they use knowledge to defend themselves, to justify themselves. They use knowledge as a shield. But the knowledgeable person use knowledge as a weapon to move forward. Familiarity without depth or understanding, flakiness. Disinterest, taking for granted, and lack of awareness. If the knowledge is indigested, then what happen? He will remain disinterested in whatever he do. He taking for granted. आप देखोगे देयर आर स्पीकर्स, जब अपने बोलते हैं तो बड़े ध्यान से सुनते हैं, दूसरे का तो ठीक है. It's taking for granted. Hurt burn. And often, what happen when there is a इंडाइजेशन ऑफ नॉलेज ये देखा जाता है, इट इट इज विजिबल कि प्रेम सूख जाता है उस व्यक्ति के भीतर, हृदय बंद हो जाता है. हाँ, पीपल स्टार्ट फीलिंग डिस्कनेक्टेड with them. Why? Because वो जो हृदय से लोगों का कनेक्ट करना वो बंद हो जाता है. Your inability to break a habit can cause a pinch. When you are deeply pained, that will rid you of the habit. When you feel pained of your shortcomings, you are a sadhak. When you are a sadhak, when you feel pained by your own shortcomings, pain takes you out of the addiction. When you are in love with the divine, you can digest the knowledge. When you can digest the knowledge, when you can feel that connection with the divine, when you can feel that oneness with the divine, कहते हैं ना प्रेम में कोई दूजा नहीं है. When you feel that love with that divine, then you can digest the knowledge. Huh? The next line is punchline is what? Love is the appetizer. Seva is exercise. Without love and seva, knowledge become indigestible. So without that sense of gratefulness, that love, that fulfillment and seva, the knowledge become indigestible. Then क्या होता है वो ज्ञान indigestible होता है. You'll see in Art of Living advanced course or part 2 course what used to happen. There is gratefulness and there is seva also. Then that knowledge become digestible. Then that knowledge वो स्थिर होता है, उसमें वो दिखने लगता है. One can experience that knowledge. Huh? That's why seva is a part of that advanced course. That's why in any spiritual organization, seva is the integral part of sadhak, because seva is that exercise and love is that appetizer, and then knowledge become can digest the knowledge. Then Gurudev saying, make a list of the loving seva you have done for the world. This is a homework, huh? We need to make a list. What are those loving seva you have done for the world? Now Mariel asks, if love is the appetizer, what is the main course? Gurudev says knowledge. Main course क्या है? Is knowledge. If you are unhappy, it's because of lack of knowledge. Misery, it's because of lack of knowledge. Or if anything not going right, it's because of lack of knowledge. If you are doing meditation and after meditation you're feeling something is it's because you're not able to apply that knowledge. And it's vice versa. कभी कभी ध्यान करते हैं तो ध्यान करने के बाद लगता है ध्यान ठीक से हुआ नहीं, इसका मतलब जीवन में सेवा की कमी है, ज्ञान की कमी है, ज्ञान को अप्लाई नहीं कर पा रहे. और कभी सेवा कर रहे हैं अहम भाव आ जा रहा है तो मीन्स ज्ञान की कमी. Someone asks, what is the desert? Gurudev says, myself. So indigestion of knowledge. Indigestion of knowledge leads to subtle ego, adamancy, tendency to preach, using knowledge for one's own small ends, familiarity without depth or understanding, disinterest, taking for granted, lack of awareness, heartburn. When you are in love with the divine, you can digest the knowledge. Love is the appetizer, seva is exercise. Without love and seva, knowledge become indigestible. Hmm? So tomorrow we'll see another knowledge.